that, you will not anymore be given 10 minutes. So in terms of the length of the examination, still can be close to 40 minutes, but unlike before, no more transfer time. So you will only be given, let's say 2 minutes to finalize your answers before you move on to the next section. All right, next one, let's have Guangzhou, 0625. Can you read the next one, please? 0625, Guangzhou. Can you hear me? Guangzhou. Is Guangzhou here? Guangzhou. Okay, what about Bin, 0624? 0624 Bin.
Yes.
Okay, can you read the next one, please?
Instructions are provided in every test type. To follow instruction will result to point instruction.
Okay, points deduction. So there. So always remember in your IELTS examination, not following instruction is not allowed. Okay, so even if your answers are obviously correct, you will still not be given points, or your points will be invalidated if you do not follow instructions. So for example, one of the most common questions in listening would be multiple choice. Multiple choice questions. So what is the typical, or what is the common instruction for multiple choice? Man? If it's multiple choice question. Multiple choice question. What is the instruction for multiple choice question? Yes. Multiple choice. How do we write answers in multiple choice questions? Okay, so he can't remember. Let's have Yo. How do we write answers for multiple choice questions? What's multiple choice question? Okay, so there would be choices. So how are we going to write our answers? What do we write as answers? Letters, very good. Okay, so for multiple choice questions and also matching, so in most cases in matching, the instruction would be to write the letter of the correct answer. So if in the event that you do not follow that instruction, even if your answer is correct, your answer will still not be considered correct. Okay, so also completion questions. So typically for completion questions, you will be given how many words are you supposed to use as answers. So let's say if the instruction will tell you to use one word only. So even if the correct answer is part of your answer, so let's say that the correct answer is the word cat, but your answer, you wrote a cat. So how many words is cat? So this is only one word. A cat, this is counted as 2 words. So articles, prepositions, determiners, those words are still counted as 1 word. Okay? So even if you only added the article on, this will still be considered incorrect. Okay? So we do not want to lose points just because you don't follow instructions. So make sure that we follow instructions. Anyway, instructions are very simple. Okay? So if you cannot understand or if you cannot follow instructions, that means your level of comprehension would, or most likely, is low. And unfortunately, your examiner will not help you understanding the instructions. You will have to understand the instruction by yourself. You cannot ask someone to help you in translating questions and instructions when you start the test. Okay? So if you're not really familiar with different instructions of the examination, so as early as now, try to check so that you may follow them. What's up, Jalin? 0626. Can you read the next one, please? 0626, Jalin. Are you there? Jalin, yes. Can you read this for us, please?
30 minutes with instruction will shoot to point this
Here,
instruction.
a 30-minute recording.
A 30-minute recording will be played. After recording plays, candidate or to answer directly in the question.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we can stop from here because this is not, the next sentence is not anymore applicable. All right, now for the listening examination, you will not be seeing or you will not be given a script. So we need to say whatever you hear, that will be your basis in answering questions. So whatever they say, whatever the speaker says in the recording, you cannot, or you will not be given something that you can read on. All right. So we need to say, as you listen to the recording, you also need to record answers. So same as in the paper-based examination in the past, you will still be given a sheet of paper that you can write notes on. Okay, so you have the option to write your answer in that sheet of paper, or you can also type your answer directly to your device. Okay, so the catch. So let's say that you're slow at typing. Okay, so just my personal take. So if you think that you cannot type fast and then the instruction would tell you to write, let's say 3 words and or a number, so there would be a chance, or there's a high chance that the correct answers may be more than, let's say, maybe more than 1 word. And could be a combination of words and numbers. So if you're slow at typing, yes, you can initially write your answer in your sheet of paper. And then before you move on to the next section, there's going to be a prompt to tell you to finalize your answer for that section. All right? So that will be the time that you can start transferring your answers to your device. But if the question would only ask you to write the letter of the correct answer, so it doesn't need grammar, so you can type your answer right away in your device. Okay? Okay, next one. Let's have, all right, so let's have Juan, QB. Are you there? Juan, QB, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, can you read the next one, please?
Answer come in order. Just look at the question at a time for tracking purpose.
Okay, tracking purposes. Okay, so 3 questions is actually too much. So I would recommend to read 2 questions at a time. Okay, of course you need to focus on 1 question, but also look at the next question. The recording will not tell you where the answers are found. So tracking would be your task. So the recording will not tell you, number 1, this is the answer for question 1, or this is the part where you can find question number 1. The recording is going to be in the form of a talk or conversation. We need to say, apart from the answers, you can also read irrelevant information. So in some cases, you can even, or sometimes you may even wait for 2 minutes before the answer to the next question will be mentioned. So we cannot really tell when an answer is going to be mentioned. So this is why you need to track. All right, so how do we track? So let's say you're trying to answer question number 1. So do not only focus, do not only read question number 1. Also look at question number 2. All right, so if you happen to hear the keywords for question number 2, so that means that the answer for question number 1 is already mentioned. So it's not any more productive that you stay at question 1. You have to move to question 2 right away, and also at the same time look at question number 3. Right? Most candidates do not do this, or many candidates do not do this. And because of that, they lose track of the questions that they need to answer. All right? Okay, next one. Let's have Tuan, QB, 0624. Are you there? 0624 Tuan, QB.
Yes.
Okay, can you read this part?
Misspelled word will be marked incorrect.
Okay, exactly. Unfortunately, for listening tests, you will have to write the words yourself. So with a reading examination, so this is not something to be worried about, because you can see the script, you can see the passage, and once you identify an answer, you only have to copy the word to your questionnaire or to your answer sheet. But for the listening examination, you will only be your listening skills. All right? The recording will not slow down for you. Okay, so example in speaking, some of you would say, teacher, can you speak really slow? You cannot ask your examiner or you cannot ask the recording that way. Okay, so you will have to listen so that you will avoid missing answers. All right, and then also, whatever your answers are, even if it's, let's say that the correct answer is a singular noun. How does a singular noun look like? Let's have Leanne. How does a singular noun look like, Leanne? Singular nouns. How do singular nouns look like? Singular nouns. How do singular nouns look like? How do we know if a noun is singular? Yes. Can you give me an example of a noun? A common noun. Okay, let's have counsel. Can you give me an example of a noun? Sorry? Duck. Okay, very good. This is a noun. Is this plural or singular? Singular. How do we know if it's singular? It doesn't have an S. Very good. Okay? So there. So we can tell that a noun is singular because it doesn't have any S. It doesn't have ES, IES. Alright? So let's say that the correct answer is the word duck. But your answer is ducks. So you only added an S. This is not going to be correct. Alright? So, how you write the words actually matter. Alright? So for those who have issues with spelling, so as early as now, you have to improve your spelling skills. Because even if your answer is obviously correct, your answer will still not be considered correct. Okay? When it comes to spelling, so some words have more than one spelling. Okay, so some words can be spelled more than one. More than one way. For example, the word theater. Okay, so theater. So apart from this spelling, we can actually also spell theater this way. Both are correct. Alright, so either or. Alright. Another example. Let's say organization. How do we spell organization? Todd? Can you spell organization? Spelling. Organization. How do you spell organization? O-R. What's next? N. Organic. R. Organic. What's next? Organization is a common word. Okay, let's have, yeah. If you continue spelling. Spell organization. We already have G here. O-R-G-A-N-I. What's next? I'm sorry? Z, not G. Z. What else? T. T. Is it E? This is E. How do you say this letter? Is this E? Is this E? Is this correct? A. This is A. I. And then continue. Alright. So when we spell organization, so we can spell organization this way. And I think most of us spell organization this way, right? But in British English, we can actually spell organization instead of using a Z or using a Z, we can write it with an S. Both are correct. Okay? So, but apart from that, if you misspell, so of course your answer will not be correct. So, including singulars and plurals. So, if you would need a singular noun, you have to write a singular noun. Take it however you heard it from the recording. Okay? The questions will not be exactly the same, or the questions are not worded exactly the same as you hear the information from the passage or from the recording. However, you have to take it as is. So except if the question would not allow you to copy the word form from your recording because of grammar. Okay? Questions? Clear? Alright, and because of this, so some questions in your listening examination would ask you to write dates. Alright, so what makes up a date? So you will have to have number and month. So if you think that you still cannot spell months of the year, so again, as early as now, try to memorize how to spell months. Okay, for example, the month of August. So how do we spell August? Let's have 0726 Quinn. Can you hear me? 0726 Quinn. Are you there? Quinn is not in. What about Kai? 0625.
Yes.
Okay, can you spell the month August?
A
What's next? S T. Okay, so there you go. And then also, by the way, capitalization is not really something important in listening. However, if you're going to write proper names, so what are proper names? Specific names, for example, months. So the month of August, January to December. When you write them, you have to make sure that you capitalize the first letter. All right? If you're going to write August this way, this will not be considered correct. Okay? So you will be penalized. You will not be given points if you write August this way. All right? But for others, so it's fine. And then also for you to not be penalized. So let's say that you cannot really multitask much. So instead of writing combination of small and big letters, I would strongly recommend to write all your answers in capital letter. So this one. So this is considered correct. So let's say the next answer is the word cat. This is also okay. All right? But once you do not capitalize the first letter of a proper name, your answer will not be marked correct, even if you spell it correctly. Understood? So it would be better to write everything in capital letters, big letters, all right, for you to avoid improper capitalization. Okay, all right. Now, things that you need to prepare before you take the examination. So remember, listening, writing, speaking, and reading examination in the IELTS test is not an intelligence test. Okay, so these examinations do not measure your level of intelligence, but it will only show how good, how effective you are of a communicator in English. So whatever your score is, it will just show your level of English. So that's why it's called an English level test. No wrong or right answer, no pass or fail mark. So the only time that you fail is when you fail hitting your ideal band score. So some institutions would require you to get a band score of 7. Some institutions may require you to only get a 6. So the only time that you will fail is if you don't hit your band score. That's it. Okay? So this is why, if you notice in your listening examination, it's not in the form of dictation. Alright? Why? Because the purpose of your listening test is to check if you can understand spoken English. Are you having a hard time understanding native speakers speak the language? Alright? So if it's easy for you to understand someone who speaks English, so try to watch a movie. Try to ask yourself, are you having difficulty in understanding? the actors of the film? Do you find them too fast? If you don't put a subtitle, will you be able to understand what they're saying? So if most of the time, if you watch English movies and you're struggling to understand them, so that means that you need to do more, because that's going to be pretty much the same when you answer the listening test. All right, so it will test your level of comprehension. How well do you understand someone who speaks English? All right. All right, next one. Let's have Yo. Can you read the next one, please? Exactly. All right. So when it comes to listening, yes, it will help. It will improve if you keep on practicing listening. But remember, your listening examination, it will test your level of listening skills. Meaning to say, even if you practice and practice, as long as you don't understand spoken English, still your practice will be useless. So what you do instead, improve your listening ability. Okay, so how do you actually improve your listening ability? Always see to it that you hear something in English. Immerse yourself in the language. So even if you do not intend to practice listening, just try listening to any type of audio that is in English. All right, so if you keep on doing it, you will get comfortable at some point. So remember, listening, reading, writing, speaking, they're skills. How do you improve skills? Let's go over here. Let me call someone from online. Let's have Ben, 0126. Are you there? 0126.
Yes.
Okay, how do you improve skills?
I can listen to some.
No, I mean skills in general. How do we improve skills in general? Speaking, reading, writing, listening. How do we improve skills?
You can take more tests from.
Again, test is not enough. How do you actually, for example, listening, reading, writing, and speaking, they're not the only skills. Another example of skills is driving, cooking, right? Public speaking, those are skills. Question, how do we make our skills better? Do we just read and read? Practice and practice? Yes, someone? How do we improve skills? Okay, when you say skills, we improve by applying what we learn. All right, by doing it, by constantly doing it, by always doing it. So example, driving. If you're learning how to drive, is it enough that you just read? Are we going to learn are we going to learn how to drive if we just read and read? We don't, right? We cannot. So we have to drive so that we can improve. We can really learn the skills. So same as with the IELTS examination. So it's a test, it's a level test of your skill. So let's say you just keep on practicing and practicing without even improving your basic listening ability. So still, you will not really improve much. All right, so this is why keep on listening to someone who speaks English. All right, so even if you do not intend to practice, just immerse yourself in the language. So let's say if you would like to listen to something, so music, so try to play English music. If you would like to watch a film, so try to watch English films. So there. So by exposing yourself in the language, of course, you will get better anytime. Not soon, but at some point. Okay? All right, now, if you are to compare listening, reading, writing, speaking, actually many candidates can get a 9 in the listening examination. And personally speaking, among the 4 subtests of the IELTS, listening is actually the easiest. Look at the questions in listening. They're actually very easy. Okay, the challenge is that you do not see what they're saying. And if you're someone who cannot really multitask, so listening needs multitasking. So when you say multitasking, you do things at the same time. So in the listening examination, you will have to listen to the recording. You're going to record answers as you listen, and you're also going to track questions as you listen as well. All right, so unlike reading, so sometimes reading, if you're tired of reading the long passages, tired of reading or trying to identify which part of the paragraph to read, so you can take some time to rest. So you can take, let's say, 30 seconds, 1 minute, you close your eyes, and then rest for a while, but listening, you cannot do that. So everything, you have to multitask, and you cannot stop once the recording has played, or is playing, or has started playing. All right? So if you cannot do things quickly, so if you're too slow, the recording will not stop for you. All right? So this is why listening, for some people, they consider it difficult. But question-wise, level of difficulty, not really. All right, many candidates can get a 9 in listening. But how? All right, so one thing that you need to consider when you do the listening test is for you to anticipate for the correct answers. So when you say anticipate, you already guess what kind of information do you need to find in the recording. So why? Remember, you don't have the script. And you will also listen to information that are not relevant to the questions. So how will you be able to spot a correct answer if you do not know what you're looking for? So that is why you have to understand how words are used in sentences. So this is why you need to know what is a noun. What is a noun again, Megan? What is a noun? I asked you this before. Okay, so a noun is a name. Okay, so it could be a person. It could be an animal. It could be a name of a place. It could be something. All right? So what about verbs? Let's have look. What is a verb? Okay, so it could be action verbs, it could be modal verbs, but most of the time in listening, you would be asked to find an action verb. Very good. What about an adjective? What is an adjective? What's that, Council? What are adjectives? Okay, so adjectives describe nouns. Can you give me an example? Beautiful. So that is an adjective. So there, word types. Okay, so especially when it comes to completion questions. So completion questions would ask you to write words. Words that are missing from either a phrase, a form, a note. Okay? So if you do not know what type of word is missing, of course, even if you heard the word, even if the word is simple, you will not be able to spot it as an answer. Okay? So there. So as early as now, try to be familiar with word types. You do this first. When you answer the listening examination, you will have to identify what kind of word or information is missing. Is it a noun? Is it an adjective? Is it a verb? Is it an adverb? So once you hear that answer, you can easily spot that that's the right answer. All right? Next one. Let's have Law 0526. Are you there? 0526. Yes. Can you repeat for us?
First in unit 0.
Okay. All right. So also, listening is, when you say listening, it is important that you understand what you're listening. All right. So in the reading examination, so if you notice, you don't really have to understand the entire passage. So the most important thing is you understand the question and what it means, so that you can go to the part of the passage that you can read. However, in the listening examination, it will be in a form of a talk or a conversation. And if you do not understand the general topic of the conversation, it would also affect the way that you track questions. So you have to plug in to the situation. All right, so just to give you an example, when answering math questions, So you may encounter map labeling in the listening examination. For you to be able to identify the parts, the labels of the map, you will have to plug in to the situation. So you imagine yourself being on site. You imagine that you're there at that place and you're following instruction. So if the speaker would tell you go right, so you have to imagine yourself walking to your right. If the examiner or if the audio recording would say go straight, you also imagine that you're also walking straight, moving forward. So there. So that's what it means when we say plugging in the situation. All right. So try to imagine yourself. Try to understand what is the topic about. What were they talking about? Who are the speakers? What are they talking? What are their topics? So if you do it that way, easier for you to follow the information or track the questions. Okay, so an example. Let's have someone read this part. Let's have Hyen. Can you read this? Dialogue. Between. Okay, so there. So this is normal in listening. Before you even hear the conversation, or before you even get to listen to the conversation or the talk, so there's going to be a prompt informing you what are going to be, or what would be the speaker's topics. So you have to listen to this part so that you will easily understand the flow of the conversation or the talk. Okay? So try to think, who are those people? Are they students? Are they tourists? Is it a tour guide speaking? Is it a radio announcer? Next one, let's have Đường. Exactly. All right. So listening, your recording will keep on playing. All right. Whether you lose attention or not. So if you lose attention, then it will be your fault. So reading, you can pause. You can stop for some minutes to rest if you want to. Listening, no. All right. So if you did not get the correct answer, the recording will still keep on playing. You cannot ask your examiner to stop the recording for you and then move it back. All right. So this is why you have to make sure that you always look at your screen. So if you're going to look at your seatmates, you're going to not look at your screen all the time. You may miss an answer. All right. So don't lose attention. Very important. Okay, next one. Let me have Hyen.
Watch out for
Indicators. Okay, all right. So if it were to be listed, if it were to be writing, so we can consider these as transition words or signposts. Okay, so these kinds of words, for example, however, but, finally, they indicate which type of information is going to be given next. Or let's say time sequencers, they will also tell which part of the passage or which part of the questionnaire you're supposed to look at. For example, let's say section 4. What type of topic do we normally hear in section 4? Or what kind of audio do we normally hear in section 4? Let's have you. Section 4. What's usually the recording about in section 4? Lecture, right? So for section 4, you will be hearing a lecture. So it could be a lecture from a university professor. It could be a lecture from an expert. For instance, it could be a scientist. So it could be a historian, right? So when you say lecture, of course, lecture has parts. It has structure. So before the lecturer starts speaking, they will tell you what would be the topic of the lecture. Today, we will look at, and then what is the topic? So after that, the speaker or the lecturer tells you ideas point by point. And then, last point, normally they would say finally, lastly. So let's say that you're still answering question number 31. And then you heard the lecturer saying, finally. So what could that mean? Yet. You're still at question number 31. And then you heard the professor saying, finally. It's the end of the lecture. So the speaker is moving toward the end of the lecture. And then you're still at question 31. What does that mean? Finally, you're still at question 31. So, it means that you've already missed most of the questions. You've missed most of the answers. You're at question 31. Question 31 is the first question for section 4. You heard the recording saying finally. So we need to say the recording is about to end. So you've missed a lot of answers. So there. So watch out for these types of words because they actually guide you. They are indicators. That's why they're called indicators. Another example, if you happen to hear the word however. So what does this indicate? What does this mean? If you hear however. Let's have someone from online. Let's have bid 0624. 0624 Bin, are you there? Is Bin out? Okay, what about Kwang 0725?
Yes.
Alright, so if you happen to hear the word however, what do you think that means? However, but.
The answer is incorrect.
The answer is an adverb, not really. When you use however or but, when do we use them? In writing, when do we use however or but? We use these words to contrast, to introduce something opposite. Alright? So same as in the listening examination. So usually in the listening test, there would be distractors. So when you say distractors, they may qualify as an answer, but they're not the answer that we're looking for. So from the word itself, distract. So they're there, they're placed in the recording to check how far can we, or how do we identify, or how effective we are at identifying correct answers. So let's say that you're looking for a date. And then you happen to initially hear August 5. Alright, so you initially hear August 5 and then all of a sudden you hear the word however or but. So these may indicate that August 5 is not the right answer, but instead the correct answer would be the date after you hear these word indicators. So you have to be very careful when it comes to listening. Alright? It doesn't mean to say that you happen to hear the type of information that you need as answers. Those are already the answers. No. So they could be distractors. So watch out if you happen to hear these words. Okay. So for example, I have here a short conversation. So let's say that the question is, what is the email address? So let's say that you're answering a form, and then you need this as an answer. And in the recording, you actually happen to hear an email address. So this is the email address you initially heard. How do we read this email? Let's have it. Can you read this email? Can you read this email? How do we read this email? Okay, what about this one? How do we read that? This symbol. Who can read this email? Phone me, QB. Are you there? Phone me, QB.
Yes.
All right, can you read this email for us?
Okay.
How do you read this email? Just read this email, the email only. How do you read this?
Right answer.
What's the symbol, everyone?
Mm.
How do you pronounce this, or how do you say the symbol? This is dash. Lauren dash Hansen. How do you read this, yo? Again, dash. Lauren dash Hansen. Okay, at. What's next? Okay, perfect. So we read this as Lauren dash Hansen at gmail.com. If you're going to write the email without the dash sign, your email is not correct. So you have to be familiar with the different email symbols. So we have a different lecture on that. All right, now, so let's say this is the first email you've heard. And then because you already assumed that this is the right email, so you did not listen to the rest of the conversation. And then it turns out that this is not correct, because the correct answer is actually this. Hansen, or Hansen with an M, not an M. So there. So only one letter, this will make your answer incorrect. So there. So do not write answers too quickly, or do not assume that the first information that you hear, that is already the right answer. So questions that would require you to write answers with dates, or let's say numbers, for example, date, email addresses, home addresses, let's say flight numbers, credit card numbers, phone numbers. Be careful, because there would be distractors. And usually the distractors are the ones that you hear first. So sometimes the distractor is actually the second or the third one. The first one may be the correct answer, but then again, we still cannot tell. So this is why you have to finish the entire part of that conversation. So let's say that you only heard one email, so no more follow-up, no changes, so that would be the right email. Okay? So as you spot an answer, yes, write them down, but do not assume that they are already the correct answer. You have to still keep on listening. All right? All right, silly mistakes. So for example, not following instructions, writing, misspelling words. So let's say that the correct answer is a singular noun, your answer is a plural noun. So that is also considered a silly mistake. Okay? And then also make sure that you encode your answer to the right space. Question number 1's answer should be placed in box for question number 1. All right? And then if everything else fails, so if you can, do not leave any blanks unanswered, or any blank answers. So if you cannot, then you can guess. But when you guess, you have to guess logically. So for example, in notes completion, so let's say you happen to need a date or time of the day. So you're not sure if what you've heard is correct or not, so you can just use it as your answer. So let's say that if you do not, if your guess is not correct, then it's fine. You will not be, or let's say, you will not be given extra deductions. You will not just be given points. All right? So if you would leave an answer or a question unanswered, so it will still be the same result. You will not be given any points. But if your guess is correct, then you will be added points. So there. So this is why, as much as you can, do not leave any blank answers. Yes. When you guess logically. Okay, so for those who are not aware, numbers may be also expressed differently. So for example, 0 in phone numbers. So most speakers in the listening test, so if they are to say 0, especially when it comes to saying phone numbers, they don't really say 0. But sometimes they would say O. Alright? So example, can you read this, Joe? Okay, so there. So this is normally how they would say a phone number. So they would use the terms triple, double, and then O instead of 0. Okay? Sometimes in terms of units of measurement, for example, distance, all right, size. So sometimes you cannot also hear O or 0, but instead you might hear the word not. Okay, so there was a recording that used this term, not 0.25, not 0.75. So when you say not means 0. So if you hear not 0.75, so you write it as not 0.75. So this is pronounced as not. Okay? Questions? No questions? All right. So nuance, please take note. All right, currency. All right, so normally the currency symbol that is used or that are used in listening would either be pound or dollar sign. So this is pounds. So if you happen to hear pounds, you write pounds this way. Okay? Dollars. All right. So there. So let's say that this is the correct. Let's say that this is the answer. The question amount. Okay, all right, so I need you to take a look at my screen. So let's say that this is how the question is given. So if this is the type of question, you will have to write the currency symbol. You will have to write the dollar sign if it were to be in dollars, and then the number. But if the question is this, you're given the currency symbol, you just have to write the number. You get it? Okay. All right. And then you also need to be familiar on how amounts of money are expressed in the listening test or by native speakers. So example. So this one, they can say this in an informal way. So they may say this as £8.80, and usually they say it in informal form. So £8.80. If it's formal, £8 and 80 pence. So dollars, $8.80 or $8.80. All right. Questions? Clear? Okay, so let's try. So let's have, let's see. Okay, let's have Duke. Can you write the amount? $7.25. Chat, in the chat. $7.25. You don't have to put the currency symbol. $7.25. Second in the chat. Send it to everyone. $7.25. Let's see. Okay, so there. But then again, in the examination, if you need to put the dollar symbol, so put the dollar symbol, okay? So $7.25. Or, in some cases, you might hear someone saying $7.25. All right, so if you are aware that you need an amount, and then you only heard the term $7.25, so you have to also write, you still have to write this way. Okay? All right, questions? No questions? All right. Dates. Okay, so as much as you can, when you write dates, that dates could be written in any form. All right, but But let's say that you have an example of the format of the date. So let's say that you're answering table completion. And then one of the categories would be dates. And one question falls under that category. So usually you would see examples. So however the dates are expressed, so you take that format, okay? So September 6th, so this is okay. 6th of September, so there. So you can use those formats. But if there is an example of a format, so take the format as is. Okay, now, your score in your official examination or in your official test report, you will not be able to be made aware of how many points you got. So you will only be receiving your math score, right? Raw score, you will not be informed. So let's say that you would need a 6. So let's say that your school or your university requires you to get a 6. So that means that you have to answer at least 23 points. So for those who are required to hit a 7 and above, then that means that you have to have at least 30 correct points, 30 correct answers. So there. Questions? Do we have any questions? Okay, all right, so this time let's practice. So I need everyone to prepare a sheet of paper, or if not, you can open a notepad. Okay, let me ask someone from online if you can see my screen. Can we have Hilam? Hilam, are you there? Hilam, do you see my screen? Okay, all right. So I will be giving you some time. I'll give you 30 seconds. Look at the questions and then at the same time number your paper from 1 to 5. Okay, all right, so let's try to chat if you can hear the recording.
Section 1. You will hear a man booking a tourist tour.
Okay, Tommy, can you tell us if you can see or you can hear the recording? Tommy, QB?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so everyone, let's start.
First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. You can see that there is an example that has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation related to this will be played first.
Hello, Mr. Smith. How can I be of assistance today?
Good morning. I would like to book a tour to Sydney. The man answers the question. Tour to Sydney. So the word Sydney has been written on the top of the form. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Hello, Mr. Smith. How can I be of assistance today?
Good morning. I would like to book a tour to Sydney.
I can help you with that. What would you like to see?
As much of Sydney as possible. What are my choices?
There are a number of choices. What type of tour would you like? A pedestrian tour or a bus tour?
I think I'll choose the bus tour.
There's a hop-on, hop-off bus tour that takes you around to the Harbour Bridge, the Opera House and the Queen Victoria Building.
I think it's a good option. Is there a set timetable for the tour?
No. The buses run in a loop around the city all day.
And what hours do the buses operate?
They run from 7 a.m. in the morning until 9 p.m. each night.
That sounds nice.
Yes. And the closest stop is just 20 meters out from here, at the front of the hotel.
Okay, all right, so let's answer. Any volunteer? Number 1, let's have bus tour. Okay, next one, can you call someone? Pick one. Okay, mine, number 2. Number 2. No answer? Okay, what about that? Number 2? You also miss? Who did not miss? Question number 2. Let's have Talan. Number 2. Building. Like this, building. Okay. Can you call another person? You can call from online. Check the participants online. Call someone. Which one? 05? The student code. Make your voice louder, come on. Okay, Kanlin. 0626, Kanlin.
Yes.
All right, can you answer question 3?
Number 3, I think 9 p.m.
Okay, so the number 9. All right, Lynn, can you call another person online? Check the participants list and then call out a name. Who would you like to go next?
I go 0526 10.
0526.
10.
0526. Sorry?
0726 Lynn.
Okay, from Lynn.
Yes,
Number 4.
I think 20.
I'm sorry.
20.
20. Okay. Last one. Offline. Let's have Megan. Hotel. Okay. All right. So let's listen again. So this is an example of what we call notes completion. All right. So if you notice, you can easily tell what type of information is given if you are to check the subheadings. For example, tour type. So that means that question number 1's answer should be a type of tour. Question number 2. So these lists, or this list is a list of tourist attractions. So we need to say they are tourist attractions. All you have to do is to complete the name of the 3rd attraction. So we already have the Queen Victoria. There's something missing. So that's what you need to find out from the recording. Number 3 falls under timetable. So you would have to write a number to indicate time. So closest stop, information about the closest stop. Black meters, so you would need a number. How many meters? From up. So most likely this could be, or this is somewhere. So let's listen and let's double check if your answers are correct.
that has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played first.
Hello, Mr. Smith. How can I be of assistance today?
Good morning. I would like to book a tour to Sydney. The man answers the question. Tour to Sydney. So the word Sydney has been written on the top of the form. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Hello, Mr. Smith. How can I be of assistance today?
Good morning. I would like to book a tour to Sydney.
I can help you with that. What would you like to see?
As much of Sydney as possible. What are my choices?
There are a number of choices. What type of tour would you like?
Okay.
A pedestrian tour or bus tour?
Okay, so
I
we
think
have
I'll-
two choices. Pedestrian, so what do you mean by pedestrian tour? They're going to walk. And then another one is bus tour. So what did you choose?
Choose the bus tour.
Okay.
There's a
so
hot one.
He chose bus tour. So the correct answer is bus tour. Okay. Next one.
Hop off bus tour. That takes you around to the Harbour Bridge, the Opera House and the Queen Victoria Building.
Okay.
I
So
think
the
it's a-
bus tour would take you to different tourist attractions. One of them, the Queen Victoria Building. So this is also correct. Okay. Next one.
Good option. Is there a set timetable for the tour?
No. The buses run in a loop around the city all day.
And what hours do the buses operate?
They run from 7 a.m. in the morning until 9 p.m. each night.
Okay, so from 7 to 9. So you only need number 9. Okay. Next one, 4 and 5.
Those nice.
Yes. And the closest stop is just 20 meters out from here, at the front of the hotel.
Okay, so there. So 20 meters here at the front of the hotel. So there you go. So did anyone get 5? I think some of you did not. Okay, so for those who got 5, I need you to use your Zoom. Raise your hand. Or send a thumbs up. Again, for those who got 5, raise your hand. Use Zoom, including online. No one got 5 from offline? Okay, only Sam? Who else? Okay, Madeline, very good. Who else? Only 2 people? Okay, all right, so let's continue. All right, so this is from 6 to 10. So number your paper from 6 to 10. This time it's in the form of a table. So tables, notes, forms, they're almost exactly the same. So usually you only have to provide factual information, dates, names. So also look at each category. So obviously the first category or the first column would be the names of the tickets. So you also see for the second category or the second column, you see amounts. So meaning to say the answer should be how much number. You already have the dollar sign, so you just need a number. And then additional information about each ticket type. Instruction tells you to write one word or a number. So we need to say you have to only choose. So your answer could be a number or a word. But do not put them together. All right, so let's start.
Victoria Building.
I think it's a good option.
Yes. And the closest stop is...
Now listen and answer questions 6 to 10. What ticket types do you have?
We have 3 ticket types. The first one is called minimal, and it is the cheapest tariff. It costs only $15 and you can use such ticket during 2 hours.
Oh, I want to see as much of Sydney as possible. Do you have full day tickets?
Yes, sure. The next ticket type we have is standard. It's the most popular type. This pass costs $30 and lasts all day.
This sounds nice.
We also have a premium ticket. You can buy it for $55. This pass lasts all day and includes free drinks and snacks during your trip. And you will be provided with an audio guide.
I think I'll buy the premium ticket.
Great!
Okay, so let's answer.
Section 1.
All
You
right.
now have half a minute.
Okay, volunteer. Number 6. Let's have 2. Number 6. 15. Like this, 15. Okay, next one, number 7. Come on. Number 7. 2. Okay, all right, next one, number 8. Count to. Standard. All right, next one, number 9. Let's have high-end. High-end. Did you answer? What's your answer, number 9? No answer? Okay, let's have Ming Han, number 9. Sorry? 55? Okay. Lastly, number 10. Let's call someone from online. Let's have Block, 0526.
Number 10 is audio guide.
Okay, can you spell? Can you type it in the chat? Let's see. Audio guide, okay. All right, also, it says here that it's one word, so if you're going to write audio guide, you have to put them together. So if you're going to separate them, so that means that you did not follow the instruction, okay? All right, so let's listen again. Let's check if your answers were correct.
We have 3 ticket types. The first one is called minimal, and it is the cheapest tariff. It costs only $15 and you can use such ticket during 2 hours.
Okay, so there you go. So it costs $50 and you can use it for 2 hours. So 5, 6, and 7, you're correct. Next one.
I want to see as much of Sydney as possible. Do you have full day tickets?
Yes, sure. The next ticket type we have is standard.
Standard.
It's the most popular type. This pass costs $30 and lasts all day.
Okay.
This sounds nice.
We also have a premium ticket. You can buy it for $55.
Okay.
This pass lasts all day and includes free drinks and snacks during your trip. And you will be provided with an audio guide.
Okay, very good.
I think I'll buy the premium ticket.
All right, now
Great.
what I need you to do is to tally your score. So all in all, this is 10 points. So you don't have to send to everyone, send it here. I need you to send your score here. Send it to me. So out of 10 points, how many did you get? Okay, so far I have Matt, yet. 06262, 0526 Tam, Ming An, Taiwan, Luke, 0626. What about the rest? Online, there are actually 37 of us today. For the others. Okay, so good job because most of you actually got 9 or 10, and then some of you got 8. So there, this is section 1. So section 1 is considered to be the easiest. If you can, try not to make too many mistakes in section 1. Alright? Questions? Do we have any questions? Alright, okay, so Let's have one more.
Section 1.
Section.
Okay, same drill, guys. I'll give you 1 minute. Cover your paper from 1 to 10. Are we all good? All right, so let's start.
Section 1. You will hear a woman phoning to inquire about house rental. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 6. You will see that there is an example that has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played first.
Hello, thank you for calling Iris Rentals. How can I help you?
Yes, hello there. I'm ringing just to make inquiries about renting a new property, and I came across a listing on your website that I'm interested in.
Oh, yes.
I'd like to find out a few more details, if I may.
Yes, of course. Can I take your name?
It's Mary Collins.
The name of the woman is Mary Collins. So, Mary Collins has been written in the space. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 6.
Hello, thank you for calling Iris Rentals. How can I help you?
Yes, hello there. I'm ringing just to make inquiries about renting a new property, and I came across a listing on your website that I'm interested in.
Oh, yes.
I'd like to find out a few more details, if I may.
Yes, of course. Can I take your name?
It's Mary Collins.
Okay, Mary. I'm just searching our system for the property details. Is there any information in particular that you were wanting?
Does the house have a gym?
No, the house doesn't have a gym. However, the house has a large swimming pool, which will be great for exercise and really refreshing during the summer.
Oh, wow. That sounds lovely. What is the general layout of the house?
This house is rather unusual, as the living room is located upstairs with the bedrooms, and downstairs at the ground floor is the dining room, which has a lovely view out over the swimming pool.
Does the house come with a car parking space on the street?
Oh, there's no need for that. The house comes with a big garage where you can park your cars, and there's also a lot of room for storage. It's attached to the house through a door in the kitchen.
Oh, that's perfect. It'll make it far easier to carry my food shopping into the house.
Oh yes, absolutely. You actually don't even need to take your car to do the shopping, as the local supermarket is just down the street. You can walk the distance easily.
Really? How convenient. Is there anywhere near to the house where I can take my children to play?
Unfortunately, there aren't any playgrounds nearby, but there is a park near the supermarket that would be great for taking your children for a walk. It would also be a great place for you to meet your neighbours.
Yes, that's true. I love taking long walks in the park. I'm sure there will be a playground at the local school anyway.
Yes, absolutely. The community has its own primary school, and there is a secondary school in the neighbouring community, so there are plenty of resources nearby for your children's education.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 7 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 7 to 10.
Okay, great. What are the rental costs for the property?
The monthly rent is $980, which is very reasonable considering the size of the house and the amenities that it has to offer.
Does that figure include maintenance fees and bills?
The bills are not included in that figure, but it does include any maintenance fees for the garden.
That sounds like a very reasonable price. We were hoping to move on the 20th of April. Will the house be vacant for that date?
The current tenants of the property are due to leave on the 20th, but the cleaners will need a few days to make sure that the house is clean and tidy. This would make the house officially available on the 23rd of April.
Well, everything about the house sounds perfect. Exactly what I'm looking for. What day would it be possible to view the property?
I have arranged for the tenant to leave the property on Friday, so I can show the house to prospective renters. Would you be able to make that day?
Yes, I'm sure I could come on my lunch break. Would 1 o'clock be okay?
I'm afraid that I have a meeting at 12:30, so I won't be able to make that time. I have available appointments at 10:15 and 3.
Okay. In that case, can we schedule the appointment for 10:15?
No problem. I'll book it into my schedule. If you wouldn't mind arriving 5 minutes early, that would be great, just so we can get started on time.
Sure. What is the address?
Postcode is GA5 8ER, and the house is number 8 on Spring Street. It's the second right off of Bath Street.
Okay, that's great.
Do you have any more questions?
No, thank you for your help.
No problem. See you on Friday. Bye.
Okay, all right, so everyone, let's start answering. So number 1, we need a type of facility. So who would like to volunteer to answer question 1? What's up, y'all? Okay, so your answer is swimming pool. Okay. Next one, let's have someone from online. Let's have, okay, 0725 Kwang. Can you answer number 2? 0725 Kwang, are you with us? No? Okay, what about Fumi, QB, 0725? Fumi, QB?
Yes.
Yes, number 2?
Number 2 is rooms.
Living room? Like this? Am I right? Did I get it right? Living room? Dining? Okay, so dining. Dining room. So your answer is dining room. Okay, thank you. What about number 3? What's that council? Yes. I'm sorry. Garage. All right, next one. Number 4. What's up yet? Okay, next one, number 5. Let's have Megan. I'm sorry. Park. Like this. All right, next one, number 6. Let's have Duke. Secondary school. All right, next one, number 7. Let's have 2. 0626B2. Number 7.